The plantation slave economy made the fortune of the kingdoms of Europe. In that dark era, during the Portuguese slave raids in Central Africa, a man was captured in a village of the kingdom of Ndongo. Later, he would be called Elijah. That name was given to him by a Jewish slave trader named Isaac Levy, a man who secretly worked for the King of Portugal. But his true name was Mobwe. Isaac Levy pursued a strange dream, to find, deep in the heart of Central Africa, a lost city, a kind of El Dorado, the remnant of an ancient civilization. So Elijah made a promise. In exchange for his freedom, he would guide Isaac Levy to that place. But in truth, Elijah did not know whether that city really existed. However, he did know a forest, a mystical forest, strange, forbidden. No one dared venture into it, for all who entered never returned. It was said that this territory belonged to the terrible leopard god, the blood leopard, Mafdet. Elijah hoped for one thing, that the Portuguese and the Jesuit priests who would accompany him would disappear with him in that cursed forest, and that, in the chaos, some slaves might manage to escape. But things did not go as planned. When Elijah led the Portuguese troop into the forbidden forest in search of the mythical city, Isaac Levy, suspicious, decided to remain at the entrance. He sent only a group of scouts with Elijah. They entered the forest, and they never returned.
Le Dieu vengeur, léopard de sang de la jungle, griffe les cœurs, brise les hommes, marche dans le tonnerre, marche dans la jungle.
5 days passed. Then, in the middle of the night, terrible screams rose from the forest. Inhuman screams. Fear seized the men. Then, 2 silhouettes appeared at the edge of the trees. Only 2. One was carrying the other on his shoulders. He was a black man, strange, dressed in a leopard skin. On his back he carried Elijah, unconscious. The man was covered in sweat, exhausted, as if he had been running to escape something that haunted that forest. Isaac Levy and his men captured them immediately, and they left the place in great haste. When Elijah regained consciousness, he no longer spoke, as if the forest had stolen his voice. Later, he was deported to North America. As for me, I was purchased by Jesuit priests. They took me from trading post to trading post, all the way to Japan. But my story begins long before that. My name is Nkisi. I was born in a small village north of the kingdom of Ndongo. At that time, Central Africa was in turmoil. The Portuguese were invading towns and villages. They burned, they looted, they destroyed everything. Chaos reigned. But they were not the only threat. There were also the Imbangala, fearsome mercenary warriors, cruel. They lived for war and for plunder. They recruited their soldiers by capturing young boys, and it was said that they even killed the children born in their camps. The Imbangala were not a single people. They were divided, several bands, several chiefs, no loyalty. They sold themselves to the highest bidder, even to one another. But among them, one name dominated all the others: Kasanje, the most powerful of the Imbangala chiefs, an ally of the Portuguese. He was called the Ghost Warrior. Wherever he went, terror followed. The Portuguese knew it. With Kasanje, the balance of war could shift. Thanks to the Imbangala, they won many victories against the kingdom of Ndongo. Some Imbangala bands were destroyed. Others joined Ndongo. Others still founded their own kingdoms. But me, I met Kasanje the day the Imbangala destroyed my village. They burned everything, massacred everyone. I was the only survivor. Kasanje ordered that my life be spared. He said he had seen in me something strange, something that intrigued him. His men captured me and took me to his territory, near the mystical forest. I hated that man, but I had no choice. With other captives whose villages had been destroyed, we were imprisoned. We were few. Kasanje wanted to turn us into Imbangala warriors, but first, our spirits had to be broken. Our former lives had to be destroyed, and we had to be initiated into the secret path of the blood leopard. One night, our eyes blindfolded, we entered the forbidden forest. We walked for a long time, a very long time. Then the blindfolds were removed, and we discovered a clearing, strange, saturated with mystery. Around us stood warriors, dressed in leopard skins, their faces hidden behind leopard masks, motionless, terrifying. In their right hands, torches were burning. The fire illuminated the dark atmosphere of the clearing. And before us stood a gigantic statue, a leopard, carved from an unknown white mineral. Kasanje entered the clearing. Around him stood his leopard men. His attire resembled theirs, but something set him apart. In his hands he held a crystal stone, a white crystal made from the same mineral as the leopard statue. He watched us for a long time. Then he spoke. His voice was deep, solemn. "You have been chosen to join the most radical branch of my army, the one that follows the dark path of the blood leopard." He claimed that some of us possessed a mind superior to that of ordinary mortals. But before entering this secret society, the leopard had to judge whether we were worthy. Then the priests of the leopard men's sect began to sing, an ancient chant, mystical. Around us the drums echoed. The tam-tams beat faster and faster, louder and louder. Then Kasanje tightened the crystal in his hand, and suddenly, crack! The stone exploded, like an eggshell. Yet this mineral seemed hard as rock. But Kasanje appeared to possess a strange strength. He threw the powder into a basin of flames. A thick smoke rose up, a black smoke, sickening. Within seconds, the entire clearing was swallowed. The smoke seeped into our skin, into our blood, into our lungs, like a parasite clinging to its host. The pain was immediate. We screamed. Our eyes turned red. Our bodies were shaken by convulsions. We roared like beasts. Then, silence. When the smoke cleared, most of us were dead. Only 3 survivors were still standing, me and 2 others. The selection was brutal. The bodies were thrown into the fire. Around us, the leopard men let out war cries. They were satisfied. We had survived the first trial. But something had changed within us. Our bodies seemed stronger, more resilient, as if a foreign force was flowing through our blood. For months we were subjected to terrible trials, fights, hunts, rituals. If one of us died, no one cared. It simply meant that he was not worthy of becoming a leopard man. Those who survived learned to become predators. We imitated the cries of felines. We learned to move in silence, to pounce, to stalk. Then we were taught the weapons of the leopard men. Iron claws capable of reproducing the wounds of a leopard. Whips, short blades, knives, and all the weapons of nocturnal warfare. We struck at night, always at night. At the same time, in Central Africa, a woman was born who would change history. Her name was Ingeta. Her name meant to twist or to coil. For at her birth, the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck. She was born into a world in crisis. Slavery threatened to devastate Central Africa. Her father, Ngola Kiluanji, king of Ndongo, raised her like a warrior. He knew that war was coming. The Portuguese had been invading the region for more than 50 years. Their mission was twofold: to Christianize the African peoples and to expand the empire of Portugal. At that time, Portugal was a maritime superpower. Its largest colony was in Brazil, and there, the sugar plantations needed an immense workforce. So the Portuguese began capturing thousands of Africans to turn them into slaves. King Kiluanji had to defend his kingdom. He trained Ingeta in the art of war. She learned to handle weapons, to command soldiers. In the army of Ndongo, women also fought. They rode horses, they carried weapons. The kingdom of Ndongo was powerful. At the top stood the sovereign, the Ngola. Below him, the Sobas, the nobility of the kingdom. But one of them rebelled, a Soba from the north, Kavulo. And to overthrow the king, he hired a mercenary, Kasanje. When King Kiluanji set out to crush the rebellion, Kasanje gave me an order, a night mission. Under the influence of the leopard men drug, I moved like a predator. The guards saw nothing coming. Our existence was only a rumor. I entered the camp. One by one, I eliminated the soldiers, in silence. Then I reached the royal tent. Ngola Kiluanji had no time to react. The leopard's claw sealed his fate. The king's death plunged Ndongo into chaos. When she saw the marks of leopard claws on her father's body, Ingeta understood. The leopard men truly existed. Her brother Mbande, jealous of power, seized the throne. Ingeta then went into exile and allied herself with an Imbangala clan enemy of Kasanje. Their leader was called Kasa. He agreed to help her, but on one condition, that she too would accept the secret path of the blood leopard. Ingeta accepted, for she had no other choice. Before initiating him into the attack techniques of the leopard men, Kasa first makes him understand one thing. In the beginning, the Imbangala were united. But one day, while they were fleeing the Portuguese, they came upon the idol of the blood leopard in the forbidden forest. And there, some of them began to hear voices in their heads. The voices told them to create a secret society, the society of the blood leopard, to fight, to resist the invaders. Kasanje, with his undeniable charisma, used cunning, and very quickly he took control of the group. He proclaimed himself the voice of the blood leopard. But he abused the use of a strange mineral, found buried in great quantities in a cave beneath the idol of the blood leopard. The voices in his head drove him mad, and his madness infected all of us. Several Imbangala groups challenged his authority, but he had become too powerful. So, we divided into different clans. each one continuing the rites of the blood leopard, according to its own voice. Some Imbangala clans, however, renounced the voice of the leopard. They found it far too dangerous. The powder of the blood leopard makes you stronger, but it also eats away at your soul. That is why we dilute it with other natural ingredients to lessen its impact, he said. For 3 years, Nzinga fought alongside the Imbangala, like a lioness. She attacked the roots of the slave trade. She freed captives. Her name became a legend. But meanwhile, Kasanje continued to spread terror. Even the Portuguese were beginning to fear him. Then one day, the priests of the leopard told Kasanje that a strange man had arrived in the kingdom. An old man, a powerful Nganga from a distant region. He wore a lion skin and lived near the great lake of the Forbidden Forest. The oracles declared that he was the source of mystical upheavals. Kasanje summoned me. His gaze was dark. Find this man and end his life.
We are the sand that grinds the crown, the storm that pulls the empire down. Hey, you hear us roar in every tongue, oppressed not owned. We are the many, you are one. You are one. We are the many, you are one. They parade in stolen armor, drink to gods they never fear. But every lash they lay on us beats a rhythm drawing near. Children counting under breath, mothers hiding seeds of steel, old men tracing in the dust the world we're sworn to build. We are the sand that grinds the crown, the storm that pulls the empire down. You hear us roar in every tongue, oppressed not owned. We are the many, you are one. You are one. We are the many, you are one. How long can marble stand when blood runs through the cracks? How long can chains hold fast when every link fights back? Remember this, remember us, when statues start to fall. We were never just their shadows, we were the